I've said to the credit of many groups when we reach these conclusions to full album spotlights, it's bittersweet. Because you want to continue the journey, right, with more. And as far as I'm concerned, the Visions of Atlantis, as I've noted previously, door is open for the future. That's why I left you initially with the first phase of coverage surrounding this group, and our first initial introduction via 15 pieces of theirs from a mixture of the most recent 3 albums. But in returning to Pirates, which, as I've said before, was mandated, just on experience, I'm reminded exactly of where I was leaving Visions of Atlantis for the first time after those 15 listens. Just under a day's period, right? In only a few hours, I became an instant fan. Understood. European talent, Austrian based, and I love artists of that vein. First group, though, I feel a bit sophisticated in terms of standing to be like, I listen to Austrian presences. It just feels kind of elite and classy, but I love it. But on application, it's more than just, again, geographic credits. Symphonic metal, melodic metal, power metal, there's such a proficiency demonstrated here on application that I absolutely love. And ever since, I've fallen into this deep adoration with yet another European metal talent. From Napalm Records, no surprise, again, they'd be strong in their attributions because they've carried a good library of artists, many of which I've not yet been introduced to, but some I have. And just like every other artist, any in general, from various different geographical standpoints, because it's not just in Europe, I feel quite honored to spotlight such proficiency and good execution in the artistic world, which isn't always found, right? But in music, for me, it usually is, especially in the metal territory. There is such exercise of proficiency in this environment. I love witnessing good art with you, especially with music. It's a first love in my life. And mutual experiences of introduction, I find more enriching, right? Rather than just in isolation. Visions of Atlantis is fine to experience by yourself, but it's just not the same. To enjoy it in company, even better. And to permit opportunities, right, through first introductions that we take mutually. I wouldn't have it any other way with this group, because it allows maybe for the company of others that have approached this group before me. I know there are many of you that fit that attribution, as I've noted many times in past coverage, and I mean this. Thank you to each and every one of you. Without you, in terms of your frequent recommendations of VOA, I would have not, or more than likely not found out about them. Maybe they would have come through in terms of name passing somewhere else, but they wouldn't have been fast-tracked or necessitated that development. But for all of you, because so many of you are faithful to give me so many exquisite recommendations that we've humored thus far and many more upcoming. I'm just looking at my current phase list, and it is still over about 500 songs of what I have total from upwards like 20 to 25 different groups. It's a lot. Not all those are first recommendations, but a good supply of them are based on my comments. I'm sure every one of them will be satisfactory if it's been the story to every track we've humored here. And Visions of Atlantis, no different. What a wonderful experience that we've had in company. Whoever we happen to be, again, well-informed listeners that I might be a little younger in my days in comparison to a number of you I know, but I think I'm equal in adoration. And just in the fact that I wanted to return so readily. Visions of Atlantis mandates, again, that experience. You just don't want it to let up. Having a revitalization of where we were just about a little under a month ago, it's been a real ride for me. And those of you who have not yet been introduced, and this is your first stepping with Visions of Atlantis, and maybe generally into the European rock and metal foray, let this be your first step. Now, I would recommend, because we've reached the conclusion of Pirates, with this track, I Will Be Gone. This is the 12th of the lineup. I would highly recommend going back on the origin of Pirates Will Return and going from there. And where this goes tonally, I mean, the last piece was a bit of a pause in terms of the harsher mood, which I've liked that mainstay, by the way. With Visions of Atlantis, there is a naturally exercised variability that is persistent within the symphonic metal landscape. That's clearly evident. And the last piece I thought just really sunk in well. Again, it's a bit of a more of a ballad, piano-emphasized number with a Clementine solo. Exquisite, though. I mean, just her vocals alone, or the duality presence between her and Mikkel, who did not appear on the last track, but he's been, to my knowledge, on every other piece we've humored, and maybe I Will Be Gone will follow that path. Just such a... And again, on Entrance, where I began with Visions of Atlantis, I thought it was more so just an isolated vocal role, not on two, but the blend works. Let's see where we go with I Will Be Gone. But the conclusion, again, bittersweet to reach this point, but to humor Pirates in full with you, I feel quite honored. Again, it's been a fun ride. Let's finish it out with, I'm sure, another competent piece. That's been the story of every track on Pirates. I'm sure its conclusion will be no different at all. A lot of its conclusion works as we near the end have employed that whistle pattern. It's a cool intrusion. More aggressive mood communicated. Here comes the rock foundation, that march pattern. Consistent direction. Okay. Takes on a bit of a different pacing, at least in auditory experience, because your brain kind of tracks along a bit again in that marching pattern originally in a different form. Even though it is consistent. But the two sides work together well. The tragic mood works. Oh, this is beautiful. Even syncopation and the vocal intermixing just works. Real glow on this number. And its deviations of expectation, for example, again, that ominous, like 4-note cue on the end of the chorus. That even works. Again, there's just such a natural passage here. The O is good transitional choice, it works. It's perfect. Really carries you along. Still 2 minutes to go on this number. Judging by the lyrics, this is going to be a bit of a stretched instrumental section, I would think. With occasional intersections. Key change, okay. Key waverance, it kind of floats back into this similar mood. Maybe the same key even. Yeah, it kind of darts back and forth. Good choice. Real expertise. Complex. And the interchanging between, again, presence. We have soft fitting into the large, where there's an intersection, again, brought in by the foundation with the march pace. Whenever Mikhail comes in on that line, it just works. Even as an echo, it's just such a fabulous pairing. Oh, they're darting to the new key, or the pattern of it. Because there's that natural reversion again where the original song starts. It's well suited. Sounds like bagpipes to me. It's very German. But it works. Especially as an album closure, it's a good choice. That feels like a conclusion. It wraps up our journey. which you feel like, again, considering the pirate concept and being on this seafaring voyage of sorts, that's what this number communicates, where you're like, okay, you're kind of on that ship ride. It floats along. Just even an introduction, again, so soft of an opener that naturally ascends, right? The rough foundation, that march pace, again, ascends our growth into that harsher mood that sort of deviates again when your brain translates the oncoming audio and you start to hear again the construction of the work as formatted, if it follows in tune or if it deviates a bit on pattern. The emphasis takes us in a bit of a different direction, but the syncopation is quite even. Soft interlude on opener with the vocals to lead us into a beautifully interplayed chorus. Again, this has been explored in numerous occurrences with Visions of Atlantis in the past. That interplay, again, the duality presence on vocals between Clementine and Mikhail, it's incredibly natural. But the way the lines feed and the echoes on part of Mikhail's behalf, the "I will be gone" line, I love that. Even though, again, it's a dual layering because he's already paired with Clementine for those lines, and there's that dimension added. To have the independence come back in, it works really well to the growth of the song. The inflection points on the ending, that progression, the ascension just really works. And the storytelling, of course, is always highly articulate piece, just again with that symphonic dimension. There's so much to admire in that space. It's why I love symphonic metal so much. It's the wide employ of tools that bands oftentimes exercise. And in Visions of Atlantis, I see so much in this album. Mainstays for them. And some adventurism, at least on particular emphases, again, like those whistle patterns, again, on Origin and throughout the songs over the last couple of entries. That's been a bit fresh to my understanding from what I remember, but there's just so much offered by this album on construction that is just so transfixing and mesmeric. And I see symphonic metal, demonstrated in brilliance from a varied pool of groups. Ones I've explored in the past, maybe many I have yet to get to that have been recommendations in the past for sure. Some of which are on my current list of groups I have yet to get to. I know there are a couple symphonic mentions in there. Visions of Atlantis, I love humoring them. The experience has been quite the ride, and I knew they would be, again, just based on the frequency they came through in my comment section. With good reason. Pirates just yet again speaks to that mastery that's been so evidently employed by this group time and time again on every occasion we've humored them. And for the future, right? As I've said in the past, open door here. I am eagerly waiting for more whenever that happens to be the case. Whenever we get some new development beyond just pirates, I'm looking forward to the opportunity. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below on this album closure and just the album in general, right? And from every vantage point you have and however you approach this particular band, familiarize, listen to you, first impression, feel free to chime in down below. As I've said to every respective musical artist I've humored on this channel, it is an honor to spotlight Visions of Atlantis, and to be introduced mutually of you makes the experience even better, right? It reinvigorates, again, that entrance path that we had in the beginning. Just with 15 pieces, but as I've said many times, Pirates mandated that return. And to share in company with you on a first impression basis to what we've experienced in glamorous mastery, I've loved the experience. Can't wait for more. Next opportunity comes up, Visions of Atlantis. I am sitting here, eagerly anticipating whenever that is. Top tier talent for me in the symphonic metal vein. Easy repeat listen that, again, in accordance to the entirety of Pirates, now that we've humored it together, that's all. Every piece is going to follow that pattern, just beyond the first 5 we entertained. And I'm sure every piece forthcoming from Visions of Atlantis will speak to the same craftsmanship. I absolutely loved entertaining this group, and to do so with you, to be introduced, it's an honor. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.